Hey listeners, I'm Melissa Kepler. Welcome to our podcast about all things lifestyle, business, and content, how to navigate through each, and the important role your mental and physical health plays in all of it. So, let's talk about it. Here we go. Maggie and McAuley. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to Let's Talk About It. So, for anyone who doesn't know, I have worked in the fitness industry, obviously, for a very long time. I have worked in corporate fitness, and I have managed facilities, the last one of which I was at for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And Maggie was an instructor at all of our locations. Mm-hmm. So I had found out that Maggie was going to venture off on her own, which, mind you, during the time she was working at the facility that I was working at, we didn't talk. Not because...
Not like I may have like saw you in passing.
Yeah. But there was no real reason for us to talk just because I wasn't her direct report. She talked to her manager and taught her classes and went about her business. And
I did sub for me.
I have subbed. So we had other than like a text here or there, like, yeah, I got you. What's the structure of your class? Cool. So flash forward years later, and was it? How many years were you? How long were you?
Like
was it less than a year?
It was 2.
2 years. I was gonna say it's definitely more than a year.
2. Yeah.
So flash forward 2 years, and I found out Maggie was starting her own jam, and I was in the process of what you guys know, leaving the corporate America behind, and I wanted to tap back into why I got into fitness in the first place, and this was not meant to align. It just kind of sort of happened that way, where I had just reached out to Maggie to congratulate her on and wish her good luck on starting this new era of her life, this new chapter. And then, we were kind of talking about like, oh, if you know any instructors or if you're looking for some
literally you texted me and I was pulling into my driveway. I remember it. And I was like, that's so sweet. Cause you were just like, congratulations. Like you said something like you've been in the industry for a while. I don't even know what you said, but you were just
I was like inspired. I'm always
me.
inspired when someone goes off. I always call it like kind of just like running to the edge of a building and jumping off and free falling into, if free falling is supposed to be like this invigorating, exciting thing and the most terrifying thing at the same time.
Yeah.
And I was like really excited for you.
And I felt that through the text, and I was like, I feel like I'd rather have a conversation with her. I don't do this for everybody. I was like, well, if you have a minute, do you want like a phone call? And literally you were like, yeah, call me. So I called you sitting in my driveway and we talked for like an hour. Yeah. I never got out of the car. I was like in my driveway for that entire hour.
And it was our first real conversation ever. But it was like very natural. Like it felt like we had known each other.
I felt
for a long
like
time.
by the end of the conversation, I was like, quit your job.
Keep in mind, this is not what.
No, but I was like, yeah, you should do that. And then I got off the phone and I was like, I barely know this girl. And I just told her to quit her job. Was that the right thing to do?
That was so funny. I was basically just expressing like moments of uncertainty in my own life. And this was basically like only a couple days apart from when I had already mentally and emotionally made the decision to do this, but I was like, I don't know. I've been working in this industry and I've been climbing and working towards a position in upper management for a very, very long time. Like I had been a manager for a very long time in facilities even prior to that, but I was now climbing to be the manager of the managers and the GM. But I'm going to just spill my heart and soul to this woman that I've never had a conversation with before in my whole life. And I was just like, I miss fitness. And it's a crazy thing to say because I was working in the fitness industry. I'm so far removed from the client relations that isn't their billing. You know what I mean? Their billing or them telling me something's broken or complaining about another staff member. I was like, my client relations stopped being like wellness. Yeah. And that for me was just a little disheartening, I guess. Like I just felt like I was missing something. Yeah. And the only time I really felt alive was teaching my one class a week, and that's why I always jumped at subbing classes, and I felt excited. And I was just talking to Maggie about, which we're going to dive into, the new business. I was talking to Maggie about what she was trying to do and talking to her about the group fitness life, because I'm like, do I want a full circle? Because it is a grind, and we're going to dive into that a lot because Maggie, you know what it's like to be just full-time grinding the group fitness. It's exhausting, but it's rewarding. It's a whole lot of feelings. So by the end of it, you were telling me like, it sounds like you know what you want to do.
Yeah.
It sounds like you are in a job that you shouldn't be in. So she didn't say quit your job, but but basically
in a roundabout way,
you don't seem happy in your job. And if you're looking for something like I am still hiring and training, and that can be another conversation down the line.
Right.
And I was just kind of like, cool. I appreciate it. Obviously, like I got stuff to think about. Yeah, I just kind of like let it marinate, and then I came home, and then I cried, and then I cried to my husband, and then
you texted me a few days earlier, and we're like, or later, and
oh yeah, I was like,
is that offer still stand? And I was like, oh man, she's really gonna do it.
I'm like, no, I already did.
no, you did, yeah.
I'm like, no, I actually already did.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we should start there with Studio 23.
Studio 23. We are right around Rittenhouse Square in Philly. Do you want like the story of like how it kind of
everything?
Oh my god, everything.
Like how you went from where we
how
just
many
started,
hours do we have?
Right. The conversation we just had about you being in this corporate fitness and leaving to start a boutique studio.
Okay, so I mean, I've been in the industry a long time. I've taught for everything under the sun, and we can get into that later too. Taught for big gyms, private businesses, small businesses, mom and pops. I taught competitive dance for 15 years. So I've literally only taught movement since I was 17. That was my first job. And that's what I've done full time my entire life. And I had just gotten back from COVID. I was living abroad, teaching fitness abroad in Dubai. And I ended up getting a couple other places, but ended up at one facility. And it was great. Like, they were great to me, and I did like it there, but it was a bigger style gym, and I really missed that like boutique style fitness, which has never been the same since COVID. Like boutique fitness that time has passed, and I don't think it's ever going to get quite back there.
A lot of businesses didn't make it.
Yeah.
A lot of boutique businesses didn't make it.
Right. So I was searching for something that would keep me elevated, because I will say I didn't have the best experience in Dubai, but my direct managers and head instructors and my team was amazing, and we were an amazing group of women who just like elevated each other, and I was missing that. So in the meantime, this place was great, and the kind of instructor I am, it doesn't matter if I'm teaching one person or 20 people, I'm going to teach like the best that I possibly can. And so I had really small classes. I was teaching early mornings, and I only had like a few clients, but they were consistent, a few at like 7 a.m. And one of them was this guy named Glenn. He started to open up to me and talk about his experience with like yoga in the 90s. He used to teach it. And then he was saying that he owned like a sort of like a spin studio, but it was also like a bike shop. They did like everything. And I just got to know him over time. And then all of a sudden he's like, hey, do you want to like run a fitness place? And I was like, oh, he was like, I own this building and near Rittenhouse Square, and it already has lots of fitness in it, and I want to make it a giant fitness hub. And I was like, sure, let's meet and talk. And at first he was thinking more like the franchise route. And I said, I want to help you. I will give you advice, but I'm not going to run a franchise. Like I've worked for too many of them. I just do not feel like they have the clients or the owner's best interest in mind in the end. And I'm not saying this is like every franchise under the sun and whatever, but in the end, I feel like owning your own business, you care a lot about the clients because you work directly with them. In these bigger corporations and franchises, or whatever you want to call them, what's the other word for them? I don't know. There's higher up people that aren't even living in the same state.
Right. The biggest thing with franchises is like the person who owns the franchise, and then they just kind of distribute them out to these owners who but they have a specific way to do things, and it's not really always your space.
No, and it doesn't compute into every city is different. Every area is different. Every clientele is different. So I don't love that route. And I said, I think you should do your due diligence and go out and do your research. And he sure did. For a couple months, he was talking to every franchise, and he had them come in and look at the space, and and what it came down to after all that, he was like, yeah, I don't want to work with any of these. And I was like, yeah. You know what I mean?
Because it's not yours.
It's not
yours.
It's not yours.
You have to do exactly what they say, the way they say it, the colors, the styles, the hours of operation, the music type, down to what you're teaching.
Yes, how you say things, and sometimes they have the workouts already made.
Which is fine. Like some people
fine.
really like that routine, and it really just depends on what kind of instructor you are.
Sure.
I think. But yeah.
Sure, but not for me, and I don't think it was for him. And I'm glad that he came back and he's like, I think we could do this on our own. And he said, what do you think? Like, what is hot right now? And as we're going to talk about, the industry is all Pilates right now. Pilates is really what everybody's wanting.
Yeah.
Reformer, mat, it doesn't matter. And I said, I would like to do something like that, but I don't particularly want to call it Pilates because I feel like we're venturing so far from what Pilates actually is. Mm-hmm. And I would never want to label it as that and have somebody come in and be disappointed.
I was going to say, there's something to be said about, true Pilates being true Pilates.
Yeah.
I think too often, and it's so funny that you brought this up, there are so many classes being called Pilates that are not Pilates right now. And it's taking away from like real experienced and Pilates certified instructors who are doing the classical. Yeah. And you can take a lot of things and say there is Pilates within it as like a bar class.
Sure.
Like you and I are both very well versed in bar. Bar has a ton of ballet bar, yoga, and Pilates mixed in, but it's a strength training. It's a cardio strength class, know, and it's so saying that there are bits of Pilates in it versus being like, this is a Pilates class just because it's a heated sculpt class or something of that nature. You got to be careful because then the clients don't really know. And then if they do go to an actual Pilates class, it's like, oh, this is what I want. Yeah. Well, that's true Pilates.
Right.
So yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. Everything you just said, like I don't love Pilates, like teaching it. Like I'm so passionate about teaching bar. Like you and me are. I love bar. I know, and I love taking even bar off the bar and bringing it to the center of the room.
My whole vibe.
Yeah, and what I love about that is the music. I love the freedom of movement, and I love the connection to dance. And it's not to say I hate all Pilates, but the full experience of when I take a classical Pilates reformer class or a classical mat class is not like the experience that I like in my fitness class.
You were looking to bring what you're interested in to life in your own studio space.
And Studio 23, and really what sets us apart when it comes down to our reformer and our mat classes, again, notice I don't say Pilates, is that we use the music as a huge driver. I think music is something almost every single person connects with. For sure. I don't think there's like a person on the face of the planet that's just like, I just don't like music, period. You might like different genres, but I feel like it helps you connect. I feel like sometimes people, it's hard for them to stay connected with their bodies if they're not body aware and they don't understand what it means to brace your core or activate your glutes. What is another way that we can get them to stay? The whole thing about body awareness is staying present, present in the room and not distracted. And I feel like music can help people do that. I think in a dance class, like you hear things like, I get lost in the music. That's actually, you're not actually getting lost. You're actually fully present in that. So I just feel like
you're not thinking about what you're going to eat for dinner, what you're doing tomorrow.
Yes. Yes, you are fully present. And if I even say it in my classes sometimes, like if what I'm saying doesn't resonate with you, just listen to the beat of the music and just go. Because in the end, what is fitness really truly about? Connecting.
Yeah.
Connection. That's one of our keywords, And I think if you're connecting with the music and you're present in that moment, my job's done.
Right.
Forget about burning calories. Forget about everything else. So that was something that I really wanted to bring. And that, again, is so different than classical Pilates. In most classical Pilates, they don't even play music. Maybe it's on in the background. And what they do is amazing. What they're teaching is amazing. I am not here to put it down at all. It's just not, it's totally different than what I'm presenting.
Everything you're doing is to the rhythm.
To the rhythm, energy, deep connection. That's our like little tagline, our little slogan. And that's really honestly saved my life when it comes to, literally saved my life when it comes to everything. Life. It just saved my life. Right. Like rhythm, energy, deep connection, like movement, music has saved my life. So I just wanted to bring that to people. Even in our yoga classes, it's all about the music. It's all about the playlist. We're not here to like change somebody spiritually. Well, that's not it's sneaky. You know what I mean? You get them connected with the music and then we can like start talking about it. But even with yoga, it's like to get somebody to step foot in the door, especially the younger generations, it can feel a little culty sometimes. It can feel like, what is this? Weird breathing and chanting. So instead of throwing all of that in their face right away, how about we just like move to some music? You're going to feel good. We're going to stretch. We're going to move. And then if they have more questions and they want to go deeper, then we can connect with them like more one-on-one. And you know, by the time they've been coming a while, you know that client where you can be like, I think there's more to your practice. For sure. So it's really about getting people into the door. What is going to get people to move?
Right.
And what is going to get them to connect? And what is going to get them to stay present?
And there's a variety of options.
Yeah.
So it's the only studio in Philly
that does that. Thank you. Little plug there. Yeah, we're the only studio. Well, first of all, I believe we are the only LGBTQ co-owned studio in Philly. When I say there's some gyms, but like studio.
Like boutique studio.
Yeah. So I think that's really important to make it a safe space for all. I think that's really important. And the 3 different styles. You don't need to have multiple gym memberships. We have yoga, mat classes, and the reformer. Yes. And within yoga, we have 3 different styles. Yin, like a stretch and flow, which is more like a vinyasa, and then your power flow, which is like crank it up, let's go. And in the new year, we're actually introducing, I don't even know if you know this, but yes, I did mention it. Yeah. We're introducing a new mat class. So right now our mat class is heated, fast pace. I would say it's slightly lighter weights, but when I say light, I always like a good heavy weight, you know.
I use heavy on the booty always. Well, like anything that's like a standing leg work, I go heavy and slow. Yes. But then everything else goes really fast.
And you're going to love the new format. So the new format is going to be not heated because we've been getting some requests for that. And it's going to focus more on heavier weights and balance. So we're going to have Bosu, which I love. Yeah. I don't know if you have experience with Bosu, but like they're going to be amazing. And balance bars. So we're going to bring us off the floor a little bit more and work a little bit more towards strengthening and balance, which I think is really important for women.
Yeah. It's just a well-rounded space altogether. And I'm not saying that just because I work there, and I do work there now. I did quit my job and I do work.
Yes.
I do work there now.
One of the places. Yeah.
Well, yeah. One of the places that I teach. But also I've had people come in. So the reformer is a mega core reformer.
Yeah.
It's, again, not Pilates. Does it have Pilates elements? Absolutely. Sure. Just a strength training class all around. And even on the reformer, everything is to the music. So even if you're doing a platform lunge, you're going down for 4, 3, like however whatever the song is telling you to do, which your instructors do plan things out ahead of time. I don't think there's enough credit for fitness instructors and the amount of work they put into their classes outside of the space. I was telling Maggie this last week. 2 weeks ago, whatever, I had to sit down for 2 hours just to organize all my songs into beats per minute to make it.
You did it.
I did. But let me tell you, I was mad.
You were mad at me because
it was good.
I did my entire library. It took me days. Yeah.
It's helpful. Now I'll just think of like a song or two every week and I'll figure out what the beats per minute is and then I'll library
We're giving away our secrets.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't.
Well, okay. So no, it's good though, because if there's anyone in here who likes to work out in a certain pace, or if you are an instructor and you want to be able to have variety or whatever the case may be, putting together the playlist can take a really long time when you're organizing the whole workout to the music and it's not all the same pace, which Maggie had to bring me down and touch grass for a second and back to reality, because I am like what is the fastest remix of every song I can
You are 140 beats per minute.
And that would be like an hour-long bar class. We are drenched, moving as fast as we possibly can. I have learned to like slow down and have a little more variety. My glutes are always still EDM, but
when you messaged me that one day, you didn't write the whole thing. You were just like, so I did what you asked, and I put like these like slower songs in, and I was like, oh no, she hates it, and now we're gonna have to have a conversation. No. And then your next paragraph, you were like, and I loved it, and I was like, yes.
You know why? I like it because I'm being more, I don't want to say more intentional, because being in this as long as I have, I've never not been connected with my clients and what I'm doing and paying attention and form. Like, I'm there, I'm present. But I think the music just set the tone for like, this is the level we're moving and this is the pace. And now I'm like really singing and vibe. Like I'm feeling more connected to the music than I was before, whereas like I was just connected to my clients. And now I've noticed like me being into the music is making them even more into the music. For example, I've started kind of categorizing my specific songs as like, this is my slow legs. Like this is my slow squat song. Mandy Moore. What's her first song? Candy?
Yes.
Okay. Mandy Moore Candy is my slow.
Yeah. Is it that one?
Yeah. And so we're going down. I'm so addicted to the loving. And we're at the bottom of the squat. We're like, pulse for 2.
Yeah.
3.
This is giving me life
up.
right now.
What gives me every time I do that routine?
Yeah.
Center stage. Do you
yes.
remember?
Yes, of course I remember.
So I'm like, oh my God, I'm so old. Like this is my jam right now and I'm loving it. But it's just like, it's just fun and it's like free. And the variety is like making me have more fun writing my playlist. I never wrote my playlist before. I was just kind of like, there's 70 songs on this playlist and they all go kind of hard and they're vibey remixes and we play and then I will literally just be like, the music's going to tell me what we're doing today. So I always did have like the music connection, but it was a little bit different where I'd be like, oh, Brittany wants bicep. Sorry. It's Brittany. Like, cause I always had it on shuffle.
Right.
But having
That's
to go
crazy to in its own way though is really a talent because still you use that. So that's like improv. You know what I mean? You're improv.
That's a dancer, right? I think
that's the dancer, and that still happens even when you curate, which is what I call it, curating a playlist. When you curate the playlist, depending on what, because I don't do the choreography to a T, right? No. So I'm just like, okay, this is what I'm going to do a lunge.
I still improv,
and then,
I don't do choreography.
And then you put the music on, and you're like, all right, we're lunging, but now we're at this fast part. I'm like, all right, guess we're pulse. So you're still improving. So the fact that you even did that, like for your entire playlist, is its own talent in itself.
Literally
and it is
a whole bar with
talent,
no plan.
A needed talent. And I think that's where, again, that's why we hire so many dancers, right? Because you can't over plan, but you can't under plan. And there needs to be like, the playlist needs to be at least be set so that you can now be a little bit looser with your choreography.
Reformers differently. Like for reformer, I definitely have to plan out what my steps are going to be. Okay, this is like, I'm going to be 2 minutes in this move and 2 minutes in that. A good instructor needs to be able to think on their feet, because if the clients are just not getting it or they can't move like that, or this is taking a little longer to get into and I can't be like, okay, now you just finally got into it, but the song's over, we have to switch.
Yes.
You have to be able to pivot and pay attention to what the client's needs are, individuals and as a whole, like which way to move the class, because you might have a class of 15 people and 10 are on the music, but 5 are so far behind. You're like, okay, we need to meet in the middle here somewhere.
Right.
That's just like really important. And I like the reformer classes. They're a little bit smaller. You can actually kind of just walk up and down and slow things down, and you have to move slow pace. It is a little bit harder to do in a mat sculpt class of any size. So you see these rooms and you see them on social media all the time with like 20, 25 people in the room moving fast pace, and then the instructor doing the workout. I'm like, you got to move around. You got to look at who's in the back of the room. You have to go look at who's inside. You have to see if this is actually working, or if you're just in the zone and you're just hoping they're all following along. That's not going to have the same effect, or they're not going to get the same exercise that you think they're going to get. They're going to leave sweaty and feeling burnt out or exhausted from the workout, but did they do it right?
Yeah.
How do you know?
When you like give them something, I mean, it happens all the time, right? I set them up and then I get up and I walk. As soon as I turn around, there's somebody that wasn't moving that starts moving. The second you stand up, turn 100%. Around and walk. So yeah, it's really important to be able to improvise, plan, all the things that we just said. But I just love the fact that you're talking about, even you talking about how you were getting into the music teaching. That's what Studio 23 is all about, because that is your energy is now going to affect the energy of the rest of the class. So that is why I hired so many dancers. I feel like dancers, there's an artistry to teaching fitness that I think a lot of people who aren't dancers, or maybe it's not dance, maybe it's something else. Maybe you're a very passionate person in general. But if you are very, what's the word? Pragmatic, I guess. Or if you're very just sort of like, well, we're doing a bicep curl.
Yeah.
and you're not passionate about what you're doing, I think it loses something there. And again, I think that's where, for me anyways, when I take like a fitness class that I love, it's because I can feel something.
Yeah.
And it's not just my bicep.
And this doesn't have to be music, mind you. I teach different styles, right? So I teach things that aren't to the music and really are just like slow movement. And it's just really just like finding ways to connect in a different way.
I think it's the passion. I think, but for me, music makes me passionate, right? And so I guess it's just me trying to light up everybody's life the way that fitness and movement and music has lit up my life and really genuinely saved me, which we can get into if you want.
We can get into. Listen, I love group fitness for that reason. But I know, I've been doing this long enough, that there's a completely different personality that you need to be a one-on-one personal trainer than to be a group fitness. And I think being a personal trainer one-on-one is so hard. Can I do it? Absolutely. Have I done it? Yes. Do I like to do it?
Everything do
you know what I'm saying?
No.
Because my brain is like, okay, sit down on that machine, give me 15. And then before you're even done sitting down, I'm already thinking about something. It's different if I do a one-on-one, like on a reformer or like a movement type of one-on-one or a dance private. It's different. Yeah. But I just don't do well in like a gym one-on-one setting at machines. Because my brain is just going off in a million different areas. So group fitness I know the group fitness just calls to me. And I think
it's that connection thing.
Yeah.
Because when you're like in a group, you're feeling the overall general like vibe. And that's why the vibe has to be good. Because if it's not a good vibe, the whole group is like, ugh, and it feels weird. But like with one-on-one, and I'm not opposed to one-on-one.
No, I like it.
But
in the style of what I'm teaching, I like it.
Right. And even then, I still miss that group energy. For me, it's the group. It's the connection.
So, okay, we were just going to go down another avenue here.
Oh,
so let's talk about
wellness
in general and just the journey that you've been on, where you started in the fitness industry.
Yeah.
And how you got from point A to Studio 23.
Yeah. So again, started as a dancer, but I grew up in the middle of nowhere. So really tiny studio. It wasn't like I was becoming a professional dancer. Let's put it that way. Like I did move to Jersey and was like thinking about doing it professionally. But you know, I also have like flat feet, knock knees. I was like not made for it, but I was always a natural teacher. Like I was a tapper, so rhythm was everything. Yep. And I would like help my friends learn their routines. And then, like I said, I started teaching at 17 and I just really did have a knack for it. I don't love kids. Oh crap. I don't love kids, but I always taught kids dance and I was really, really good at it. I'm not good at babysitting though. Don't ask me to like babysit your kids, but I'm really good at teaching them things. Yeah. Like I'm good at getting them to understand things. And honestly, teaching adults is just like teaching kids, like to get them to understand their bodies. So that's how it translated. Over time, I was like, am I going to own my own dance studio? I just started to transition into fitness. I started with bar. I taught at Pure Barre in Philly, which was an interesting experience because I was still teaching dance full time. And I also fell in love with CrossFit simultaneously. So I got my first job teaching bar and then was doing CrossFit on my own. And I gained about 30 pounds of muscle in like 3 months because my body was like, oh, I remember watching videos and thinking I could do that.
Right.
Like that looks like it takes some coordination, which it does. CrossFit takes a lot of, I was like, I have that from my dance background. And I always struggled with staying skinny and being a thin dancer.
Growing up in the 90s.
And growing
late 2000s.
Yes,
right.
The 2000s were brutal. I was cheerleading for rugby and I was just like literally not eating. And eventually, as we all know, that doesn't work over time. So I got this bar job looking a certain way. And then I started doing CrossFit. And I loved it, by the way. I still look back. I loved doing CrossFit. I love lifting weights. I felt like I had a natural knack for it. But my bar job was not happy about it. I got feedback from my boss asking questions about why I was doing CrossFit or how many pounds I was lifting and that I didn't really need to be I think the question was, am I going to continue doing both? And then I got CrossFit level 1 certified. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to actually teach this now too. Right. And I just remember being so angry at the time.
Which also, common misconception, lifting weights is not going to make you bulky and muscular all the time. Like everyone, genetics play a huge part on this. How you eat, like your body type. I was eating
so much protein. I wanted to gain the weight.
Right.
But also I couldn't believe that I was being told by a job, by the way, that I taught like 2 classes a week. They were not paying the bills.
Right.
And even if they were, regardless of that, they shouldn't be telling me what to do with my body. So I ended up stopping teaching there, the bar classes. And then I moved to Dubai, where I then taught bar full time. So I moved there. And I mean, that was an experience living abroad. I was not in the best mental healthy place. I am 5 years, 5.5. I'm actually almost 6 years. 6 years, so almost 6 years sober. And Dubai's like a big reason for that.
Oh my gosh.
You think that it's not a party town because like technically drinking is illegal there, but it is like the Las Vegas of the Middle East. Oh my God. The party scene.
This is brand new information for me.
You didn't know this?
No. I know nothing about Dubai, if I'm being so perfectly honest.
Yeah. So obviously it's a Muslim country. It's illegal to drink, like to be out in public and drunk, but they can sell alcohol in hotels because they want to make money off of people visiting, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So they build all their bars within hotels. And there's so many hotels though. And I mean, there'd be like ladies' nights where you could just drink all night for free. There'd be these things called brunches. It's not a brunch. You just eat and drink for one price. Say it's like $80 and you get to drink as much alcohol and eat as much food as you want for like 5 hours. Yeah. And these would happen on Fridays a lot and people would just get obliterated. So I was like definitely not in a great mental space in my life, still coming off of anxiety, eating disorders. And now it's like transferring into alcohol use. However, I was still a rock star instructor. I was still a very functioning, what I would say a functioning alcoholic. And I was teaching bar full time and I did miss doing CrossFit. So I found like a local place there to do CrossFit at. And once again, the studio.
The same thing happened?
Oh, even worse. Well, they were very controlling about how we looked from the start, in like down to how much mascara you were to wear.
I remember you telling me this. This is
lipstick
crazy.
Color to wear.
Being told what lipstick to wear when it's not like when they don't have an actual uniform, you're not on stage doing a performance.
No.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I was told not to wear all black because like I was like more like a hard ass teacher and they were like, you need to soften how you come across. And then my friend who was training with me, she was more like bubbly and they're like, you need to not wear pink. You need to wear like all black. And then my other friend who worked there, and again, not mentioning any names here, I believe she told me she was told to wear black because the pattern pants she was wearing were making her thighs look bigger. So they definitely...
And this is why millennial women have issues when it's like, why do we think we look bigger than we do?
Yeah.
Because we grew up in a crazy time.
Time. Again, this is pre-COVID though. So this was like boutique fitness pre-COVID. And in our class, we would use heavier weights in this bar style class. And I would get out the heaviest that we had, which was like 15s. And then I was pulled into the office by my head instructor, who I could tell was uncomfortable relaying this information to me from the boss. And I was told that there's no need for me to be using the 15s. Like those are actually put there more for the men who come to take. And also they were like, and are you still doing CrossFit? Because we saw that you posted something the other day. And I was like, yeah. And I walked away from that meeting being like, I can't believe I'm once again being told not to lift heavy weight. So I actually went and confronted my boss directly about it. And she was like, oh, no. We were just like afraid that you would get injured. And this being your full-time job and we're out here like paying for you to work out here. We're afraid that you're going to get injured. I literally looked at her in the face and was like, I don't think that's what it's about. And I'm like offended that I was pulled into an office and told not to use 15-pound weights. And she really stuck to like, no, it really has nothing to do with that. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to injure myself doing bicep curls with 15-pound dumbbells here. So I'm going to continue to use the 15-pound dumbbells. So if that's what you're concerned about, I know what I'm doing, and I'm really fine. So that was like not a great experience. And then of course we hit COVID, and I had to move my life of 5 years. I was there for 5 years in 2 days because they were shutting down the airports. And my mom was like, get on a plane. You're going to be stuck in the Middle East without any income. We don't know what this is. So it was like the craziest 2 days of my life. And I had already done like almost a year of sobriety, and then I relapsed in Dubai. And now I got back and I had to move in with my parents because where else am I going to go?
Right.
It's COVID. Like naturally, the peak of COVID.
Yeah.
I flew into JFK and there were no other planes that landed. JFK was like a ghost town in our masks. It was so bizarre. So I moved back in with my parents, and I was like, well, what better time? I'm going to get sober. And it's not just about being sober, because I don't even, like, when people talk to me about my sobriety, I don't even call myself an alcoholic. If anything, I'm more of an addict. I never was addicted to drugs, though. I'm an addict to suffer. I had anxiety. I had the eating disorders. I would do things like pick at myself, almost like self-harm, like plucking hairs out, things like that were really like bizarre, but all behind like closed doors, you know? And for me, when I decided to get sober, I just was like, what is this going to manifest into now? What's the next thing? And so clearly I need to do like more work and figure out like really what is the root of all of this. I had so many followers from even Dubai alone. Some of my clients were taking my online classes for like 2 years. I started my own little online thing during COVID and separated myself from where I was working, which was horrible, by the way, because they didn't pay me. It was like a whole experience. And so once I kind of realized these people like really look up to me, and I'm supposed to be this shining beacon of actual wellness.
Right.
And I'm not. And there's like imposter syndrome with that. And I felt like a fraud. And I was like, I really, not only, yes, definitely for myself, but also for everybody else too. I just want to be a better instructor. I want to be a better human being. And I want to be happy. Right. So I did the deep dive. I did the therapy. I started the therapy. And like, I had always tried it before, but never really like.
Therapy doesn't work unless you are willing to put in the work.
You got to do it.
It's got to be you. Because I use same thing. Like I did therapy for years, and I was just like, okay, nope, that's not actually the case. Or someone would say, you have this is wrong with you. And I'm like, wait. I'm like, are you even listening to what I'm saying? Like,
or you have to have the right connection with the therapist too.
100%.
And luckily mine is utterly amazing. I'm still with her. And it's funny because after doing therapy, getting sober, and when I say getting sober, I was probably sober for 2 years before the cloud lifts. And they say that about alcohol. And alcohol withdrawal is actually the most dangerous withdrawal, if you didn't know. Wow. And I actually had 2 years of severe, and I didn't even drink every day. I was a binge drinker.
Yeah.
But I had severe withdrawal symptoms, and I had no idea until years later. I'm talking like last year or 2 years ago, I figured out like, holy shit. Oh, am I allowed to curse?
Yeah. She says an hour into the button.
Yeah. Holy shit. I had heart palpitations. Yeah. I had tinnitus in my ears. And I was going to the doctor, and also nobody believed me, which we could go off on a whole nother tangent about women at the doctor, but we're not going to do that. But to be fair, it took 2 years to get that cloud lifted. And then I was starting to like come out of this where I felt like my eyes were like, I felt like a newborn baby in a weird way. And I figured out I was gay, all these things, you know, but this is what happens when you
start to feel like yourself and heal yourself.
Heal yourself. And then even still, because you know, it's just a lifelong journey. Even still, I was having like massive panic attacks still. And we're talking 3 years into therapy. Like I'm doing well. My life is on the right track. I've got a great job, all these things. I was still having these massive panic attacks. And then I remember my therapist is giving me all these things to do. And I remember I come back to her and I'm like, nothing ever works. We talk about it and it all sounds good, but when I'm in it, it doesn't work. And then I remember her just saying, are you actually doing the things though? Are you taking the small walk when you start to have the panic attack? Are you splashing the cold water on your face? And I was like, yeah, I guess I'm actually not doing that.
Right. Like in theory, I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to be doing,
but I'm not.
Right.
Like actually not. So then I started to actually apply all the little things. So I got over it. To me, it was like you get over the big hump. You learn about yourself, and then you actually just need to do the things. You need to drink the water. You need to eat the food.
We're still working on Maggie drinking water. Though.
Yeah, it's here. It's right in front of me. They call it HALT. Are you hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? I call mine CHALT because if I'm cold, that's also a factor because it's very abrasive when I'm cold. So I have to make sure, am I cold? Am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Am I tired? And if you're checking in on all of those things and you're still having anxiety, then you apply your breath work, then you apply all these things. Or you apply medication. I was on medication. I slowly came off personally.
I had to wean off of it too because I need movement and it just didn't matter what I took. I was just like too chill.
Yeah. But there are people that 100% need it.
Yeah. Because everybody works different ways. I go through phases of everything. I'm manic for like 2 to 3 days. I have Zoomies at night. I'm like, I like turn into this little creature and I'm like running around the house.
That's so
and
funny.
I do cartwheels in my house. Literally. I'm not joking, guys. I
don't have that problem. Yeah.
Like it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do have ADHD, guys.
Yeah, I don't. I just have anxiety. So like that is a whole different creature in itself.
Heavy on the H. I'm ADHD heavy on the H.
Anyways, just applying all the things that they tell you to apply and like being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that everybody just needs to take a walk and splash cold water on their face.
No.
For some people, that's not going to work. But I did find that the more I lived my life with integrity, the more I could say, honestly, I did all the things that I'm supposed to do. The more I felt better about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if I'm still having anxiety after doing all those things, then let's check back in with the therapist because there's got to be something.
Yeah, and there's always going to be additional recommendations. It's always going to be a trial and error because one, you're learning yourself, your therapist is learning you, and then you're going to do the things and you're like, I know I am actually doing them and they're not working. What's next? And I think like the biggest takeaway from this part of the conversation is that your wellness professionals are also human beings.
Yeah.
I can't stress that enough. And again, I know we keep speaking specifically for ourselves because it's important to do that. You can't speak for everyone, but I gained an incredible amount of weight during the pandemic, which
Me too.
A lot of people are like, you didn't gain that much weight. I'm like, I'm 5 foot. I felt it, how heavy it was. And I don't mean heavy in just like the actual weight. I meant like mentally and emotionally wearing these body changes and the mental part being like, I'm a fitness professional and I cannot bring myself to move my body.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to get out of bed. I'm staying up all night till 2 a.m, or I'm not sleeping for days at a time. And I remember having this conversation and I was like, your fitness professionals are human beings.
Yeah.
I am struggling because I've had a lot and I feel like as many similarities we have, I feel like you've experienced this, whereas someone's like, well, it's easy for you.
Yeah,
Easy
all the time.
Easy for you.
All the time.
Someone will just look at you and be like, well, you always put yourself out there and you're always in good shape and you're always laughing and you're smiling. I've figured out the best way to manage it.
Yeah.
I've talked to the people. I've done the things. You want to know why I'm in such great shape? Because exercise is part of my therapy.
Right. The movement.
Right. The movement, it's not an obsession. It's a discipline. And people say all the time, you're obsessed, you're obsessed, you're obsessed. I'm like, I am disciplined.
Yeah.
And I'm finding the time to do it. And if I'm posting it often, it's because for every 10 people that see my post that I worked out that day or I taught a class that day, if one of those 10 people feel inspired to do the same, that's good enough for me.
Yeah. And it's not, listen, there were points where I was obsessed and I'm sure for you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But that's during that, exactly what we're talking about, that addiction phase where you're trying to find almost like a high of any sort.
Sure. And then for me, it was like, oh, well, if I'm going to go out and drink all weekend and then I have to make up for it and take 1,000 classes this week. I work out now less than I ever have before. And the second during COVID, I gained weight, but I needed to do that. For me, it felt healing to do it. And I knew it would come off. I just had this feeling it would come off in the right way for once. And I gained weight and I rested for the first time in my life because I had fascia. I was falling apart.
Mm-hmm. Resting is a hard.
It's a hard thing to do for a fitness instructor. I mean, I still was spinning. I still was teaching my online classes. But before I was teaching 20 classes a week and I was walking to and from work, I mean, I couldn't even put my feet down on the floor. They hurt so much. I gained weight. I rested. And then I did the therapy. I came back to working out and I work out, again, like I said, I work out less than I ever have. And my body completely changed. And it was more the mental. I just know that once I lived my life truly with wellness, and that meant mentally and physically, that my body changed. My whole being changed.
And that's another thing. I keep getting all these little takeaways from what you're saying, but it's really good notes to bring up is the rest is part of the wellness. Like if you're obsessively working out, feeling like I can't lose the weight or I can't gain the weight, which a big reminder, part of this note is everyone's wellness journey is not to lose weight.
Right.
Everyone's wellness journey is not to lose weight. Some people are in the gym or in these classes simply because they need to get their mind off something or they need to lock into something. They need just to move their body because they haven't been able to all week or because they're trying something new for the first time and they're looking for a new hobby. There's just so many different reasons why somebody might be in a gym or in a fitness area of any sort. And it's not always to lose weight. And I think people just need to be give people more grace who are new into these spaces. And what I love about what you've done when we started Studio 23, us as the employees, a big part of the training was you were like, don't use these words. Don't say if you're looking to burn calories and lose weight or if you're looking to tone up or she took those fad words out of our teaching criteria and made it was like, hey, I know this is really hard, but I know you can do it for 8 more counts. Hey, I know you came here for a reason, whatever that reason is, lock onto it for the next 10 seconds. It was more about bringing people into the space and connecting them, like you said, with the music and then with each other and reminding them to dig into why they're there, which is going to be different for all of them than just assuming everyone's there because they want a flat tummy and a and a lifted ass.
I don't mind bringing a little bit of science into it, right? But like
talking specifically about the muscles.
Or I don't even mind saying if you want to burn calories because that's an if.
Yeah.
If you want to burn calories, this next 30 seconds we're going to go hard.
But not an assumption
we're
all here to do this.
Let's go hard and burn calories because we all need to lose weight. This is where we're going to lose weight, everybody. No, not everybody wants. I don't want to lose weight anymore. Right. I am fine with my weight. I don't step on scales. I feel fine with my body. For me, it's about just like staying strong because I'm over 40 now. So feeling strong and also just feeling connected again. But yeah, I don't mind bringing science into it or talking about what muscles we're using. Fat loss.
The toning is a big one. Toning was a word that was invented specifically for women to convince women to lift weights. And it always was light weights. And it was like, if you want to tone, don't say build muscle. It's if they want to tone. Toning is building muscle.
Yeah.
You have to rip and repair your muscles to get in the shape that you want to get in, no matter what that looks like.
Tone used to have to do with color and music. That was the original meaning of tone. And somewhere in like the 80s and 90s, it got transferred into this like
lean muscles.
Fitness, like slimming. That word, slimming.
Right.
That is one of my like biggest pet peeve words. Slimming down our thighs. Listen, don't tell me to slim down anything. We were even coming up with, when I worked in Dubai, with like words like whittling away your waistline. I pulled out my training packet, just look at to train you guys and refresh me. I read like the first couple things. I was like, why did I pull this out? I am not going to use any of this. Whittling away our waistline. Like, come on now. But what annoys me in this industry is the lack of accountability of what we've done in the past. There is also another fitness influencer / instructor who I will not name, very famous. And I watched her speak the other day on a documentary or like a news thing. And there was a moment when they asked her, what do you have to say for all these things that you said in the 2000s? Where she could have easily taken accountability.
And just said, this is what I knew.
This is what we knew.
Yeah.
I said it. I said all these things I'm saying. I said, whittle away your waistline. This is what I taught and this is what I knew. I know better now. Yeah. And
even knowing better though, you still, maybe I can speak for myself, but I still have the trauma of wanting to look a certain way.
100%.
I don't speak like that to clients and I'm still I'm healed in a lot of ways, but there are always going to be those quick moments in the mirror where I'm like, ooh, And then I'm like, wait, what am I talking about? Then I think back to what I did to myself during the pandemic.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, I would have killed. Pandemic me would have killed to be back in this body.
Right.
You know, because I was smaller pre-pandemic than I am now.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to be like, okay, but I also gained 25 to 30 pounds.
Right.
And then like got myself back in mental and physical shape.
Yes.
And I'm probably stronger now than I was pre-pandemic.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Me too. Yeah.
But that is still, it's not to say if anyone wants to look a certain way, absolutely. My point was everyone doesn't want to look the same way.
Right.
You're absolutely allowed to want to lose weight, to have your body be a certain shape, size. That's perfectly fine. I'm just saying what your version or what you want to look like is not necessarily what the person next to you is
and
trying
also
to do.
genetics and everything play a role in this,
Play a
as we
huge
talk
part in
about
it.
all the time. You know, I wish I
Maggie
could
wants
grow.
my calves.
I
and-
want your calves and your butt. I like you know, as much as I used to squat heavy, I used to have a bigger butt. I don't have that genetic. And that's another tangent that we can talk about, which is in the Pilates world in general, the Pilates and bar world, there is a very across the board look that these places hire for and advertise as. That's something that at Studio 23, I was like, I want zero part of. I want to hire a diverse team.
Mm-hmm.
I want all body types because I truly think it's important to feel good in your body, to feel good, like versus what we are looking like.
It's great to see fitness professionals with different body types too. So, you know, going into a class, that is the person who is experienced in what they're explaining to me, and they got an ass.
Right, and that they can do it too.
Yes, they can
like,
do it. Exactly. It's
I
the
mean,
point is like
if
the
you're
body
only
type's going to look different, obviously.
showing thin people, and there's nothing wrong with thin people or, you know, smaller people. But if you're only representing them on the reformer, then other body types are going to almost be afraid or intimidated to come in and try it. And that's like the last thing that I want everybody to come try it, because it should be fun too. Like, it should be fun to move your body. But I totally hear you on just being like traumatized. But again, to just go back and hold accountability. I think growth comes from accountability. You cannot grow as a person if you're not holding yourself accountable.
Oh, yeah. We've all done stupid shit, and you can pretend that you haven't, but we have.
Yeah.
We've all said and done really stupid things in our lives.
And you have to keep doing it. Like, in this moment here today, I'm sure in 10 more years, I'm going to be like, God, I knew nothing then. And I'm going to know nothing in 10 years.
Right.
And you could just continue to learn and grow. And I just think that's so important.
Especially for educators. Being the
Yes.
student first, and like you can't continue to educate if you don't keep with the times and learn as you teach.
So I would love to see some of these places, these bigger places and these bigger instructors and stuff, take accountability and not just brush it to the side. Don't brush it to the side, because you know you did say those things, and it would be helpful to know that you learned your lesson. And I would trust people more. I would trust the fitness world more. If
Do you know what I think it is? I feel like cancel culture scares people, and they'd rather just avoid it or pretend it didn't happen than worry about being canceled. And I think less people, this is how I feel. If you say or did something that I'm like, that's absolutely horrendous, but you are willing to have a conversation with me of why I feel that that's not right, and you meet with me in the middle, I'm saying like, hey, I want to tell you why I said or did those things, or let me give you a little background into me and why I thought that was okay. If you're willing to have the open conversations and not just be like, no, this is what it is and I don't take it back, or I'm not sorry, or be willing to learn and improve. Like if someone's willing to do those things, I don't want to hit them over the head with a hammer and be like, you're done here.
Sure.
I'd be like, okay, thank you.
Yes.
Let's learn. Or
Yeah.
when people are canceled from things that like show up from years previous, and they're like, you sent this tweet or you made this statement, or hey, how many movies can you watch now where you're like, this didn't age well?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Millions of them. And we're going to cancel.
So sad. Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of them didn't age well, and a lot of jokes that you wouldn't have today. But I don't think you can just ban every person that ever did that. In the past, you'd have to have conversations.
Definitely not asking to ban
People are allowed
anybody.
to grow, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's like the accountability is important. And I think just the cancel culture sometimes goes a little too far, where we don't give people a chance to be accountable for their actions. I think we just kind of run them out of
and
town.
I'm not looking to do that. Again, it's more for me I think it would be easier for women of the 2000s and then women in general, let's be honest, but women from the 90s and 2000s to heal if collectively as groups of women, and for God's sake, men taking accountability on how they looked at our bodies and treated us. So just everybody in general. I mean, this is something you learn in sobriety. And I don't even follow the 12 steps or anything like that. That is not my sobriety journey, and that works for plenty of people. But I think there's certain steps that are so important, and accountability is a huge part of that. You just cannot grow and get better if you don't, because you're not living in that line of integrity. So again, to circle it back in, like wellness as a whole, I think that's the best thing that we're hitting nowadays is we're not just looking at fitness as this like little part and it's just us like getting on a spin bike. We're starting to look at wellness. Yeah. And there's more conversations being had now.
Well, I think knowing whether or not you're on a fitness journey or a wellness journey is really important in itself, right?
Yeah.
Because there are people who are specifically on a fitness journey and I want to look a certain way and I'm working hard and I want to look and feel this way, and that's great. But there are people who are, it was like the same thing like I was saying about being in a room. Everyone's there for a different reason. Yeah. Some people are just on a wellness journey where it's like just trying to heal the heart and the mind just as much as the body, and the body's the results of the body from moving are just the results that came along with the territory of all the work they're putting in versus trying to look a specific way. It's like I just started moving my body to feel good, to silence my brain, to make my heart feel better, to just have moments to myself. And so I think the wellness journeys are more prominent versus just being on a fitness journey. But I think understanding which one you're on as well is super important.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And I know for me, I don't really go to the club anymore.
I would give anything to shake ass for just like a night, though.
I know.
Listen, I just totally took this to the wrong place.
No.
But I was teaching class the other day and Maggie was in my class and I had Destiny's Child Jumpin' on. And I was like, guys, the clubs are not jumping anymore. And I was like, but there was a time.
There was a time.
And that time was awful and wonderful.
Awful and wonderful. That's how Dubai was for me. Everything you just said, there was a time and it was awful and it was wonderful and it was jumping, but it also was like, oof. Yeah.
Well, now I need to be in bed at a reasonable hour, but I would just love to go somewhere where like the music, it's like all of that old, like early 2000s music is just blasting. There's a DJ.
I don't even need early 2000s. I need a mixture. Okay. I could even do some current songs. I could do all of it.
But I just want to shake a little ass.
I would like to. And then be in bed by like 10 p.m.
Can the club end at 7 p.m.?
I did see, and maybe I'm plugging something else here, but they're doing like adult Philly parties and it starts at like 6 p.m. and everybody's like partying hard.
I would love that.
Yeah.
We have to find one.
We should do one.
Stay tuned. We'll do a review.
There's just something about putting a set of high heels on and what it does.
We went to the clubs in business casual. So
like so many accessories.
First of all, and they were heavy. They were heavy.
So heavy. I'm
these
sorry, I'm moving
necklaces,
around.
These peplum shirts, pencil skirts.
I had this necklace. I was very famous for wearing it. It was chains. It actually was a belt. It was like a chain.
Very famous for wearing it.
I have so many pictures in it. It was the most. I wore it as a necklace. Why did we go in business casual?
You know what? I'm not even embarrassed by it because nowadays I feel like fashion's like just like jeans and sneakers and a t-shirt, and I love me some jeans and sneakers and a t-shirt, but I want to get dressed up for no reason. I actually told my friend the other day, I was like, I'm gonna start full beating my face again for no reason. I understand that I work in fitness studios, but I just want to like sparkly eyeshadow, full color.
Yes.
Right? Like I want a dark purple cut crease. I want lip liner with glitter lipstick.
Do you remember the eyeshadows that were like a stick? They were like gel.
Yes.
Almost. I loved those.
And your eyes were sticky.
Yes, they were sticky. Listen, again, they made us wear makeup in Dubai.
Yeah.
I don't want to be, don't put me in a box. Don't force me to do anything.
Right.
But I love wearing a full face of makeup and teaching when I want to do, because it just elevates you to a different level. So I get their reasoning behind things, but you cannot force people.
No. You can't tell someone they have to do it. But I have been recently starting to put on just like my natural makeup. I would just be like, oh, I'm just gonna go teach fitness and sweat. But I would just like almost feel like my outfit wasn't complete because I love a set. I love a fitness set. I love a cute little workout outfit. But I just want to look awake. So I'm like, I just need some blush and some mascara. 100%. And then now it's just part of my routine every morning. Like I just
if you feel good in it, do it.
Yeah.
For me, I was anti-makeup because of that. And
because they were telling you
they were telling me. And then once I came out as well, I was just kind of like, fuck the patriarchy. I'm not going to put an ounce of makeup on.
Right.
Don't look at me. Like, because, it's a big transition, a big change. So for the longest, that's what made me feel good for the longest time. Zero makeup. Zero fucks given.
Right.
Now I'm cursing like way too much on
it. I like both. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yes. Yeah.
Just being good and comfortable in your own skin. So almost when like when you do the makeup, it's like, oh, this is a little treat for me.
Oh my God. Yeah. And now I'm getting more comfortable with everything to wear makeup again. But for me, it was like almost, again, we're using that big T word, the trauma, little T word, trauma word. It was almost traumatizing in a way to have so much change in my life. And I really was like anti everything, but now I'm starting to bring it back. I want to put on my high heels. I want to put on my makeup. I want to feel good.
We're going to find a club.
For me. Yeah. Oh, we're going to find a club.
We're going to find a club. Yeah. We're going to just like dance. My husband's in the other room like, okay, bye.
She'll be back by 10. Trust me. We both have to teach at 7 a.m. So
right, 10 is late. If I have to teach at 8:15, I get up at like 5:30 because I need a slow morning.
Oh yeah. You like a slow morning.
I don't like to jump out of bed ever for anything.
That's crazy to me because I'm not a snooze hitter, but I know the exact down to the minute that I need to just get up. So I get up when I need to get up. I have 25 minutes to get ready and I'm out the door.
That's too short a window for me.
Yeah, because I want to sleep because I have early mornings. So I want to sleep as long as I can sleep. So
I need like time.
Yeah.
I need a lot of time in the morning. I like to be really, I don't like to rush because then when I rush.
I'm not rushed.
If it's under an hour, I feel rushed.
Yeah, for you.
Right. Anyway,
I don't even have problems with that. For me, it's the person that hits snooze 1,000 times. I'm like, just set the alarm like 30 minutes later and sleep nicely.
I set one alarm, but then I'll hit snooze a bunch of times. I set my alarm for so much, but I set it for so much earlier than I need to be up. So Steve's like, do you have somewhere to be right now? And it'll be 5:30 that I'm hitting snooze and my alarm's going off. And if I do somewhere to be, I'm like, yeah, at 8. And he's like, oh, do you want me to turn this off? Or I'm like, no, I'm getting up.
Oh.
So I still snooze.
Yeah.
The only time I will get up in a less than half hour window is if I'm not teaching the class. Yeah. So if I'm like, oh, I'm just going to run and get on a SoulCycle bike really fast and then I can go home and then I can shower and have my slow morning. Yeah. That makes me feel in control because there was too long a period of time where I was getting up just to work and come home to eat dinner and go to sleep.
Yeah, that's rough. Because you worked that corporate all day. The fitness instructor that teaches group fit.
And those are like, not 8-hour days.
Ding, ding. Yeah, like, you're all over the place.
10-hour days, plus days.
But that's rough. Yeah.
Yeah. And starting work in the morning from the time I would get up, like I would literally sometimes leave an exercise class at 7 a.m. and I'd come out to like 10 text messages.
Right.
This isn't working. This is happening. Hey, this is locked. I can't get in. I'm like, it was just.
That's what's so nice about the fitness instructor life, you know.
I'm going to do an episode on this. I was talking to Shanika about this too. I'm going to do an episode specifically since I've lived both lives of comparing like the 9 to 5 to just your free entrepreneur doing your own thing.
They're both hard. Choose your hard.
They're both very, very, very hard. So I think having a deep dive into the differences and the pros and the cons of each and really understanding, I think hopefully it will help some people validate to stay or to finally take that plunge to leave. But I will say this, I don't have Sunday scaries anymore. And that was a big thing for me. I would used to have to spend all Sunday cleaning because I had to reset and then I had to prep my day for tomorrow. I made a decision at 6 this morning whether or not I was going to go to an exercise class. Mm-hmm. Then I did. Then I came home and then I took Ruth for over an hour walk and I was just living my best life. And I chose to do podcast recordings on Monday. So I'm like, I still have something that I've dedicated the day to. I'm still a productive day, but I just wanted to I wanted to chill Monday.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I eat, exercise, go on my walks, and then talk with my homies.
I will say that I feel like something I wish I could see in the industry change. Corporate is corporate, right? You're 9 to 5. But in the group fitness industry, especially, it is not really recognized as a full-time job. Right. And we are not paid salary. We are not paid benefits. And it is such a grueling job, especially. And again, some of us are choosing to bounce from place to place, but we're not really choosing that. We have to do that in order to make a living. And I think with the small businesses, I understand it. What I have problems with, again, when we're going back to the franchise word, is they are big places and some of their instructors are there a lot. And I have found over the years that like teaching between 15 to 20 is the maximum. If you teach more, and that is a lot. If you are teaching more than 20 classes, you are falling apart. Even if you're teaching 20, you're pretty, I was teaching 20 and I was falling apart. 15 is like the really sweet spot. And then if you're doing other responsibilities, then you need to do less than 15. So I think with some of these bigger places, what I would like to see happening, if your instructors are teaching 12 to 15 classes, they should be hired as full-time. And I'm not saying the mom and pops who are just struggling to get by. I'm talking the bigger places that can afford to do it. And if you're going to tell me that they can't afford to do it, that's because somebody higher up is making way too much money, which is the whole problem with the entire world right now. But somebody higher up is making way too much money. If you can't afford to pay your instructors who are teaching that much and taking that much time out of their day to come up with these good. Also, it makes them be better instructors. If they are not struggling to survive and they don't have to go get a second job, they can give you 100% of their time and energy. And they will be better instructors and your business will be better. I hope and pray for a time that Studio Get 23, because we're a small business. We're privately owned. My goal is, first of all, for our clients to move their bodies and enjoy themselves, first and foremost.
Right.
Duh. Second, though, for my staff, and if I could be a game changer in the industry, I would like to get big enough that we could be as big as a franchise. But my goal would be to give back to the instructors. I would love to hire people as a full-time. I would love to have somebody who's there teaching 12 to 15 classes a week and is like an assistant manager or does our social media. That is like a dream because I know that was my dream for myself.
How do you feel working the full-time job versus the running around doing the different classes? How do you feel now that you just manage one space?
I actually did have points in time, and you don't even know that, but like I had points and I left and I worked for F45 as their manager. So, and this is not anything against them. It was the most miserable time. I fell into depression pretty quickly. I basically stopped teaching, which I had done since I was 17.
See, that's how I felt, like the not teaching part.
Fully depressed within, and I had never been depressed. Even through my addictions, depression was not a part of that. So that was bizarre for me. It hit so hard, so quick. So I have had experience doing both already. So that when I came into Studio 23, I made it very clear to Glenn, like, I need to teach. Like, I'm going to manage and I'm going to teach and I'm going to teach a certain amount. And it's going to be a decent amount because I love to teach. Right. And I also want to have the experience of what my instructors are going through. I think that's the biggest problem in the industry, why it got to this point, is a lot of people who are managing are not the ones who have ever taught and done the runaround. So they do not understand. They look at us and they go, you teach 3 hours. I'm not going to pay you a full-time salary. And you're like...
I've been lucky. I've never experienced that. I've always taught for people who also teach.
That's great.
I've always had that. Or I was the person who was managing it.
I have taught for people who have taught. However, they were teaching like 1 or 2.
No, I have like not really. And like the spaces where, it was like what I told you earlier today before we even started, those spaces where I worked for someone who wasn't instructing, they made me the manager of it. You know what I mean? So I was at least the one.
Yeah. I just think it's a thing with women listen, group fitness is mainly done by women. And again, we could go on a crazy tangent here, but there are lots of people who have talked about this, the fitness industry being along the lines of the wellness industry, being in the medical field. This goes back way, way back about women being the only one who did nursing and childcare. And so it's just not recognized as a job.
Mm-hmm.
And it is an
Same thing with dance teachers.
Dance teachers, it does come down to a women-based, because look, personal trainers, that has far more men in it. And that is seen as a full-time job in gyms. But group fitness is not. Tell me why. And people talk about it. I'm not the first. I'm not some pioneer here, by the way. This is not me. This has already been talked about. But it really does need to change, because it is group fitness instructors set people's day. Like I said, I got healthier for myself, but also because my clients, I recognized that I was being, it was weird for me. Like, it suddenly dawned on me that people were looking at me with respect. And I was like, holy cow, I really do affect people.
Yeah. There are some places that are starting to do full-time instructors.
Sure. Some.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's some for sure.
It's very rare. And even if they are they getting health benefits? Are they getting all the things that a full-time job gets? And I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
I'm saying it needs to continue to happen. It needs to continue to grow.
It's not the bigger gyms. It's the spaces that are specifically just class places.
Sure.
That are doing it.
Sure. I would love to see that more. I would love to see it in the bigger gyms. I would love to see it in the franchises. And then eventually the small businesses. Like I said, that is my goal. My goal is for my employees to get to that point, to give back to the employees, which will give back to the business. Because like I said, if everybody's happy, you're going to be teaching better classes. The clients are going to be in a better place. And then it gives back to the clients, which is also my first and foremost, for them to be having a good class and quality. So yeah, that's what I would love. I would love to see some change in the industry, because it has been me crawling tooth and nail to get to where I'm at. And I will say this, I still feel like women need to speak up for other women. I had another fitness instructor who doesn't teach full time, but I remember her saying something to me because I was complaining that I felt like I deserved a big raise at a very big company I worked for that had a lot of money, and there were other instructors making a lot of money. And this woman looked at me and said, I just think this is where the industry's at, and maybe you need to pivot your mentality. And she was saying something about that she was like a lawyer or something. And she's like, I had to crawl my way up here, and I had to kiss a lot of ass and do all this stuff to work with the men. I walked away from that conversation and I was like, so instead of saying that the industry should change, she just told me I should change to adapt.
Right.
And I don't think that's the answer.
No.
I don't think the answer is us, the women, adapting anymore to practically teaching free classes, cheerleaders not making any money.
Don't even get me started.
Yeah, right. But this is
that's a whole nother conversation.
But this isn't. It's all the same line. It is all the same line. So women have to start speaking up. The rest of the industry has to pivot, not us.
Agreed.
We need to just continue to speak up and advocate for other women. That, to me, when she was talking to me, she was not advocating for me.
Right.
But I don't think that's even her fault. I think it's been brainwashed to think this is just the way why though? Why is that industry the way it is? Because all the other industries that are male dominated are not.
Yeah. To go from where I was as a group fitness instructor, managing gyms, but I was always part-time, never full-time, even though I was working somehow 50 plus hours a week. And then I would go and teach at dance studios. I remember one time, very specifically the gym that I was talking to you about, one of the early gyms on.
Oh, yeah.
And I was the manager, but I wasn't full-time, though I was. And then I was teaching 28 dance classes. Keep in mind, this was 28 dance classes a week while managing this gym. 28
That's
hours.
crazy.
I'm sorry, teaching 28 hours a week, because it was like I had my classes and then I also had competition practice that was an 8-hour day.
Right.
So 20 hours of classes and then 8 hours of competition practice on top of working at this gym 35 hours a week, because at the time didn't have to be health insurance the way it is now, 30 to 35 hours a week. So I was working from 5:30 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, 5 to 7 days a week. and I had no insurance from any of my jobs. I was not making a lot of money at the time. This is when you were still getting paid $15, $20 a class.
Mm-hmm.
I was young. I was 23 years old. So to me, $20 an hour was like, cool.
Yeah.
Fantastic, especially at that time. But I was
Yeah.
living on my own. I was trying to pay bills. I was exhausted. And then on top of all that, because it still wasn't enough money, I was bartending on Friday and Saturday nights.
Oh my God.
I was a shock. I don't know. I could never in my wildest dreams even do half of that now.
Right.
But yes, the grind of being like, I wanted to be a dancer. I didn't even really necessarily want to work in the fitness industry. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I was teaching Zumba classes and stuff like that. So I was still doing dance stuff within the gym. And that's when I started like lifting. I also had an eating disorder. So I was creating a space for me to start to have a better appreciation for my body. Working in the fitness industry helped save me in a sense as well. And because I got away from just dance and what my body should look like as a dancer, and I started feeling strong and confident in what I looked like and how I felt. All of that to say, to get to where I was this year, to be in the position that I was, to be making the money that I was making, to be like, I've spent the last 15 plus years climbing this industry, and people would dream to have the security that I had.
Yeah.
For me to just climb to the top and jump off, just to basically start from scratch.
Sure.
And a lot of people don't understand it. And I still don't 100% understand it. But what I know is there was not enough joy and happiness at the top of that building for me to make it worth the money. And I always thought like having that financial security was going to make me happier. And it just didn't. I'm happier now than I have been in a really long time.
Well, that's great to hear.
But I'm still, you know, hey, I hope this podcast takes off. Hey, I hope my bar does well. Hey, I hope these classes at these studios that I teach at, I hope my classes do well. There's so much uncertainty once again. I'm just starting existing in a space where now I'm working a lot. I'm keeping that balance of not working around the clock. I was texting my friend earlier today and I said, I vegged this weekend. I was like, even though everything I'm doing right now is so online, I'm forcing myself to not be living online. Yeah. So I like to plan things ahead of time. So like I have content ready to go. If I'm downstairs eating dinner with my husband, I'm leaving my laptop up here. It's not just a privilege to be able to have this free time to do it. It's a necessity for me not to go crazy and for me to not get swooped.
To find balance.
And to find balance. But also because I'm starting from scratch, I need to be working really hard at all of this stuff. So I'm basically working for nothing. Luckily, I have these teaching jobs and that makes me feel very fulfilled. But as far as like my own projects, I'm really just working for shits and giggles at this point.
Right.
So I know, and I say all that just to say we do have an understanding of what it's like to be on both ends of this. And it's not always going to be anyone who decides to go to start their own thing. She didn't open Studio 23 knowing that she's going to have thousands of clients right out the gate. There's
so much unknown.
Yeah, there's so much uncertainty. So it's just about a matter of whether or not you're willing to put in the time, because we've talked about this before too. A lot of businesses take 1 to 2 years just to break even.
Right.
Just to break even.
Right. You have to have your expectations right. Definitely.
Doing a lot of research and what that looks like and what kind of time you're really putting into something.
I just do find it really interesting that anything that it seems like people really enjoy doing, it's almost like they get penalized or something. Like we're not allowed to make money and love your job. Why? Why is that? I'm working hard. It's not that I'm not working hard.
It's the entertainment, and I believe fitness instructors fall into this. Even though we're wellness professionals, we are still entertainers, and most have an entertainment background. But I talked about this with Shanika also a little bit. Entertainers as a whole are underrated and underpaid.
Oh my God, yeah. 100%.
It's art.
Art is the first thing to go. It's not the, again, we could go off on a tangent here. If I got to talk about sports and how much people make in money in sports, I went to...
Those are the entertainers that make money.
Right, but
you
why?
have to get to that
What's
level.
The difference?
You have to get to that level to do it.
When I went to County College of Morris, they have a full dance program at that county college. Our dance studio was right above the physician's office for the sports when they would get injured.
Oh, like literally above.
Literally above it. So you go downstairs. we were not allowed to go down and use that. So if we got injured, we didn't get any support.
Wow.
We couldn't go get ice from them or nothing because we weren't considered a sport. I know that's a little bit different, but it's just like the disconnect of like the arts versus athletics, but there's a huge overlap there. So
a huge overlap
when we're
there.
talking about fitness industry and we're talking about this overlap of athleticism, artistry, entertainers, fitness instructors are just one of the most underpaid, under-recognized people.
Yeah.
We are so multifaceted. And we're such interesting people. And I just would love to see the industry change a little bit.
I hope that does happen. Listen, I already say this. I manifested. I'm like, this podcast is going to be huge.
It's going to go viral.
I'll have you back on this show in my new commercial studio space.
I mean, I'm putting this out there now. I'm manifesting this. When Netflix finally makes the documentary on group fitness, please somebody tell them to call me. I have so much more to dish. I have so many more secrets. I've worked for so many different places.
Everyone's checking their NDAs right now.
I know. There's so much to be told, and there's so much that needs to be told, and the documentary really needs to be made. I'm here. Give me a call.
Maggie McAuley.
Maggie McAuley. I got a lot in here. I've been writing it down, and I've been saving it for that time. So let's let this go viral first.
Right.
And then Netflix will come calling.
Period. I love that. Listen, you have to be a little delulu to make your dreams come true.
It's not delusional. I was just talking about this with my girlfriends. We were talking about buying a property in Hawaii. And I was like, I'm looking. Like, we can all split it. And they're like, you're being delusional. This is how dreams come true.
See, I say delusional, but I believe in everything. I'm a manifester. So I'm like,
that's right.
I say delulu in the sense of other people find me delusional. And I love
that. I'm on the same vein as you. If you keep saying it, it'll happen.
Anything can happen.
Yeah. Although I don't know if I want to be Netflix famous. That always gets people in trouble.
It can go in a lot of different ways if you go to
a
Netflix.
lot of different ways.
All right, Maggie.
Yeah.
This has been...
We
could talk for... Honestly, we could talk forever.
Yeah.
We'll have to have Maggie back for sure.
Get me up on the soapbox again.
Yeah. Well. Tell everybody where to find you on all the social... And the business.
Yeah. So we're on 19th and Chestnut. Like I said, 1923 Chestnut Street.
Downtown Philadelphia.
Studio 23. We have Reformer. We've got the mat classes. We've got yoga. Come in and visit us. Your first class is free. So like you can't go wrong. Give us a call if you can't get signed up. And then we have 2 weeks unlimited for $49, which is just like, we're the cheapest in the city as far as that goes. As far as Reformer goes, I have not heard a better deal than that. 2 weeks unlimited for $49. We're on Instagram. We're Studio 23 Fitness PHL. And then my personal is Outside the Asana. And I have lots of things coming up that are sort of connected with the studio. So I'm doing my second yoga retreat next year. It's going to be in Maui, baby.
As in hosting it.
Hosting it. I'm not even calling it a yoga. I mean, I'm just saying yoga retreat, but it's not even a yoga retreat. We do fitness. We do travel. I've got like activities. Do you want to do this? Do you not want to do this? Mm-hmm. And it really is just about connection with a great group of people. I just held my first one in France and it was amazing. And like, I have plenty of like great reviews from that. So next one's in Maui. I had a life-changing experience in Maui, so I want to bring everybody back and show them what that's about. I'm also going to bring back my women's circles. I was doing women's circles for a while, and I'll be doing those in my house again. So there's so many things coming up. New classes at the studio, like all the things. So follow us.
So go follow. Yeah. Follow both accounts. That way you can stay in touch with everything that's going on. And then you'll know when the Netflix series hits.
Yeah.
So it'll be perfect. The only way to know is if you're following. So
oh my God.
Thank you so much for coming into my
having me.
Yeah, it's been so much fun. I'm
gonna
so
go
happy
snuggle with your cat and your dog a little bit before I go.
Literally. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming in and I hope we get to do this again soon.
Yes, we will. Okay. Bye guys.
Bye.